Hey there everyone, Jake Sirota here, and welcome back to Authority Builders Ranking Secrets. Today we're going to be talking about SEO myths that we're leaving behind in 2025 as we move into 2026. And I want to be clear up front, a lot of these things are actually SEO tactics that didn't just suddenly stop working, but they're actually things that people probably should have stopped doing about 10 years ago. The difference is that 2025 finally removed the safety net, and now these techniques might actually get you in more hot water than not. So make sure to like, subscribe, and let's dive into it. So first, let's talk about why 2025 and this shift towards AI search kind of exposed a lot of bad SEO that is still being practiced today. So again, 2025 did not break SEO. SEO is not dead, regardless of what you might see, but it did expose a lot. AI search, similar SERPs, and more aggressive filtering just made it harder and harder to get away with techniques and low quality tactics that SEOs used to do. People got away with doing things that worked for years but didn't really make any sense. Now, these shortcuts don't just fail, they could actually hurt you. So that's why there's so much debate right now about why AI requires new tactics or if it actually is just SEO. In reality, a lot of SEOs never evolved past outdated techniques, and they still do them to this day. Okay, so let's get started with myth number one that we're leaving in 2025, and that's that any backlink is a good backlink. This one is finally dead for good. Well, for most good SEOs anyways. Web 2.0's blog comment spam, form spam, random guest posts on dead expired domains that have no relevance or traffic anymore, these didn't suddenly stop working in 2025. They stopped being smart years ago. But what changed is that a lot of search engines and AI systems are getting better at recognizing which links actually represent trust and which to ignore. So links that don't come with context, real traffic, or real editorial insight, they just don't carry that much weight anymore. If a human wouldn't read it, well, it's likely AI wouldn't read it either. All right, moving on to myth number two, and that's that publishing content fixes everything, or publishing more content fixes everything. That's another myth that, again, hasn't really been relevant for a while, but people who make money off of selling pure number of blog posts might continue to tell you that you just need more content. And for a long time, people believed that if rankings drop, the answer was simple: more blog posts about the same topic, more keywords, more pages, more volume. Well, in 2025, that kind of backfired. Content just published, not with any intent to rank, isn't doing anything to help your website. If anything, it's diluting your authority. AI systems aren't rewarding volume anymore. They're rewarding clarity, structure, depth, and usefulness for real people. And honestly, this is good for the web. Yes, AI has made it easier for people to create content at scale, but it's also made it really, really important to differentiate yourself. And it's actually made it kind of easier to identify those opportunities in some ways. All right, moving on to myth number three about SEO that we're leaving behind in 2025. And that myth is that ranking number one means that you won the game. This one is catching a lot of people off guard. But in 2025, we saw brands ranking well, but still getting zero visibility when it comes to AI search. Well, at the same time, brands who were ranking lower were being recommended pretty consistently. Why? Well, because ranking and recommendations are a little bit of different systems, even though they still very much heavily depend on each other. Ranking is about relevance signals, and recommendation is about trust. Both are still extremely important, but if your site ranks but nobody else references you, then it's pretty clear that you're not safe to recommend. And that's not a new rule by any means. It's just more visible, and it's coming out in different ways as these different systems are helping people find information on the web in different ways than they used to. Myth number four. Myth number four is all about how SEO is just technical optimization. Now, don't get me wrong, technical SEO still matters, but it's no longer the differentiator. Fast sites, clean structure, proper indexing, those are need to haves, absolutely. But in 2025, the brands that won have way more than just that. They paired solid technical foundations with strong authority signals, mentions, citations, PR, clear expertise. Just having a fast site is not going to make you outrank your competitors. Actually, sites that have less technical optimization but stronger brand signals oftentimes are still beating out their competitors that have structurally more sound websites. So I want to make that very clear. While making your website easy to use and optimized for search engines is still an extremely important part of SEO, you can't optimize your way into trust. That's why it's a multi-pronged approach, and all of these things matter. Myth number 5 is heavily debated in the industry right now and in the world in general. And this myth is that AI suddenly changed everything. This is the biggest myth of them all. AI did not break SEO. It may have helped expose bad SEO and speed up best practices, but the tactics that stopped working were already weak in traditional SEO. AI just removed the delay between doing something wrong and seeing those consequences. Good SEO still works, clean brand positioning still works, authoritative links are still important, useful content is a must, but these shortcuts are continuing to disappear. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we talked about in this episode so far. 1. Low quality links are dead. Well, they've kind of been dead for a while, but if you're still wasting your time blog commenting, please stop. Content volume without depth doesn't work. That's something that we've known for a while, but people still insist on publishing 4 blogs a week that don't add any value. Also, rankings don't guarantee recommendations. They're 2 separate systems. Technical SEO is not the end-all be-all, even though it's still really important. Just having a fast website is not what's going to make or break your SEO. And lastly, SEO definitely did not kill SEO, but this shift towards AI search might expose some outdated techniques that some people were still standing firmly by. So that just about does it for this week's episode of Ranking Secrets from Authority Builders. If you're frustrated by these changes in search, it's worth asking yourself one honest question. Were your tactics built to last, or were they built to game the system? And what can you do to make sure that your tactics have longevity? So drop me a comment and tell me which of these tips was most helpful for you and what you do or don't agree with. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep on building that real authority. Cheers.